Hey everyone, it's Types, and today I'm doing a tier list of all of the Obsidian Flames cards, or at least the ones that are of somewhat note. I honestly don't know what all of them do. There are a few that I kind of forget because there's a lot of not good stuff here. But I'm going to do it S through F, and we'll just go in order. But honestly, I think the set's not amazing, but it could be worse as well. I'd say it's kind of in the power level of Vivid Voltage, which isn't a great set. I'd say it's maybe a little better than that. But still pretty underwhelming. I don't think there's anything super game changing in the set, and I'm sure other people have said that as well. But overall, I think it's all right. Certainly, it's not like it's not awful by any means. So let's just start with the first Pokemon here, and that's going to be Whiscash, which is interesting. I put in my top 10, like the edge of it. I'll put in B tier. It's a mill Pokemon, does it for each energy attached to it, which is cool. But I don't know. As I said in the video, if you saw that, my top 10, that it was good because it's playable in Lugia. So that's kind of cool. It's actually good in Lugia. It's kind of bad in everything else, though. So, yeah, I don't think it's not amazing. Fighting is not great. Like, there's not good acceleration. You could play it with, like, I don't know, Claydol. That doesn't seem good. So, I don't know. I think Wishcast is a cool Pokemon, and I think it will see some play within Lugia. I think it's like scary for Lugia, but also if it's like an unknown factor, which is kind of known now, then it needs to have an element of surprise, and your opponent can kind of see it coming as well. So it's not amazing. Also, I have no idea what order this is in. Um, I was gonna say it's order of the Pokemon by name, but that's clearly not right. Okay, next we have this Poltegeist. This one's I don't know. It's not great. It's like a recovery Pokemon for like control-based decks. I could put it in C tier. It is level ball searchable, which is kind of cool, but its HP is really low. It's a Zoroark option. It has, I think, a spread-based attack, which is cool, and recovery is also cool. Recovery of items and also tools, which is fine. We have similar stuff. Item recovery is always nice, especially we have Cross Switcher and Pokemon Catcher, Christian Cameron format. So it's pretty solid, but it's not. I believe it's like 2 items or tools, so not great. Then we have this Trevenant. This Trevenant's bad. I don't know. Some people, I wasn't sure if I'd put it on here. Some people have been talking about it. It's not good. It's pretty much just a regular attacker. But it like instead of like dealing damage, it like does it with its ability, which is it's really not that interesting. It's a Pokemon that exists, but it's not particularly good or anything. Now we have this Entei. I've heard a little bit of talk of this one, but I don't think it's very good. It's a fire Pokemon, obviously, but it's not particularly special. It is like an okay tank because it reduces the amount of damage your opponent does, but it's like energy ramp as well. If you need something like really big, well, I don't know, it's like 60 plus 20 per, I think. So let's say you got a Charizard EX, which we'll talk about later, but accelerates 3. You accelerate, so you got 5 energy on you, like accelerate another one, maybe even let's say 6, double that to 12. Because you have the other Charizard, this is like best case scenario. You are hitting like 300 damage, but that's like absurd. You're essentially never gonna get that. But you could certainly get like 6 energy on Charizard EX, double that with regular Charizard. So that will be hitting. So that's what 120. It's still 180. I don't think it's great. I feel like there are better options, but it's D. I don't think the Charizard DX deck is gonna be that good. Now we have Seismitoad. This one's not great either. It's like an okay water stage 2 attacker. It like disrupts your opponent. I believe it increased their attack cost if it's in the active, but it's still not great. Next up, we have this Cragnole. I actually think this Cragnole is okay. It's only good in the first turn of the game, going second, but for one colorless, you do 30 in paralysis. You can do 30 anyways, but paralysis is only the first turn of the game, going second. I think it's okay as a tech option. It's obviously not that strong, but I don't despise it either. I think it will see some play. I think it deserves to see some play. It's a bit of a weird tech and hard to use. Because paralysis isn't that good right now. A lot of decks either play like a lot of switch or play a lot of evolution, so just evolve out of it anyway. It's not always like that though, so I think Cragnole has some hope in the future. And even now, it might have has some hope, but it's not. I don't know. It might be something I'll try out in toolbox-based decks, like a Ditto box deck. I think it could see some play. Maybe Lost Zone Charizard or something as well, where you have some like disruption stuff. Next up, Palafin. Palafin's really good. I don't I mean, it's not S tier. I was gonna say, like, should I put it in S tier? It's one of the best Pokemon in the set, but it's not S tier. It has a hit and run, or not a hit and run. It has an attack that only does damage if you switch in, but it's very strong. It's 210 for 2, which is just really good. I talked about it in my video, but just an amazing stat line. You can also do 30 to the active, 30 to 1 in the bench. It's a very strong Pokemon. Having to switch in is not that big of a deal. There are some pivots we're going to talk about, which are pretty solid. Not amazing, but they're okay. And there are other pivots in the game right now as well. Just Pokemon with free retreat. You could also use Beach Corridor to, of course, just play a bunch of Switch. And that's not like a huge deal by any means. So 210 is really good. And its HP of 150 is not awful by any means either. I think Palafin will definitely be a very solid Pokemon. And I think people are underestimating it. I mean, people are certainly saying it's solid, but I think it's quite good. Next up, we have this Thunderous, and it's like not good. It stops bench damage if it's in the active. So theoretically, you could hide behind it with whatever, like something on the bench, and like Rotom V or Zacian V or Sylveon V or Leafeon V to like get stuff or do stuff while you're setting up behind the Thunderous, which prevents bench damage, but it's a really bad attacker. Like, it does a massive amount of damage to itself. It doesn't knock itself out, but it's very close. Yeah, Thunderous is not good, unfortunately. It's maybe usable in Flaffy Box, but Flaffy Box isn't that good anyways. This is Belly Bolt. I think it's immune to lightning-type Pokemon or something. It's not good. It's also F tier. Okay, now we have this Lunatone, and it goes with Solrock, but I didn't. The Solrock's just not really anything important. This Lunatone prevents, I believe, effects of stadiums done to your Pokemon. I don't know if it's only your opponent's stadiums, but the main idea is obviously to prevent effects of your opponent's stadiums done to it, which is, like, interesting. Obviously, it stops, like, Path, which is kind of cool, but I don't know. You need a Solrock in play as well for it to work. So I think it's awkward. I'm not a big fan of it. I know some people like it. So it's any stadiums in play done to your Pokemon in play. This also means you can't be running stadiums of your own to help you. Most decks don't, but if you're playing like Beach Court or whatever, you really don't want to be running this, which is unfortunate. You can run like Artizone, I suppose, but I don't know. It's not a great Pokemon. It is searchable with like Level Ball or Fog Crystal, which is good, but I don't know. I saw someone like put in a Lost Zone box, but I don't know. I think it's awkward. It's kind of questionable. In terms of the Pokemon we've seen so far, it's okay. I'd say it's top of C. I'll say it's bottom of B. You know, it's playable. Sorry for that background noise. It's playable, but it's not that good either. Not awful. Next up, we have, speaking of awful, we have this Claydol. It like knocks itself out with its attack. Which is bad. It does a good amount of damage. It puts your opponent down to 10. I guess I'll put it like, I'll say it's probably top of D. Like, a lot of the Pokemon here are really rad. It knocks itself out. I believe it does the same amount of damage that it has HP. So if you were able to buff its HP, it wouldn't die, but I don't think it's a way of doing that. And then it puts your opponent down to 10. There are a few things you can use to capitalize off of that, but overall, I don't think it's very good. It's awkward, and once you could use this like a weird hit and run deck, but I can't really see that working very well. Vespiquen EX, I saw a little talk of this of people saying it's pretty good, but I don't think it's good. Pretty much what it does is it's like a spread attacker, but it's grass energy, which is not good. You'd rather it be psychic energy. This is the first of the Terra EX Pokemon that we're going to be looking at that change type when they evolve, which is interesting. But in this case, it's bad because, I mean, it's good that it's psychic type, but you'd rather not have psychic energy. You'd rather be psychic energy. So you're essentially never going to get the energy on it. You could do things, but they're all kind of clunky. Cherim's not that bad, but you could do Cherim before you evolve. And then there's also Gardenias, which is clunky. So I think this Vespiquen EX is not great. It's not like the worst thing in the world, but I mean, its damage output's pretty solid, but yes, it's just so awkward. So I don't think it's that good. Next up, we have Bonsly. Bonsly's interesting, actually. Bonsly's kind of cool. It's free retreat, 30 HP, and then for free, it does 10 and confusion. And that might seem really bad. I mean, it's not great, but I think it's okay. I'll talk about Cleffa now as well. Cleffa is 30 HP. I don't remember what it does. Is it Draw Till 7 or Shuffle Draw 7? I don't know, but it's like solid. It's like solid draw. It's free retreat, 30 HP. So obviously the issue with these is that they have really low HP. and they don't do much damage. The one does no damage, the one does just a little. It's draw until you have 7, so that's a little awkward. You'd rather be draw till you have 7, or discard draw, or shuffle draw 7, or discard draw 7. But instead, it's just draw till 7, which is okay. I mean, it's not awful by any means. It's interesting. You can and they're free, so you can commit energy attachments to other places. I think they're both okay. I'd say they're both B tier. I think Bonds. So some of you may be learning, like, because obviously Cleffa can be used to set up, but it doesn't do damage. Bonsly, I think, is all right because it, like, doing Tanning Confusion is annoying. It's not like the end of the world to anything, but it's also a pivot. I think Cleffa is fine. I think Bonsly is also okay. Cleffa is probably a little better. Because it's, it can get you out of bad situations. If you get like Ionu, you can Cleffa, I guess, but Cleffa will definitely die. And then it's I don't know. I think it's okay. I think Bonsly is good if you just need like something to mess with your opponent. Because getting confused, it's 50-50 now whether you flip heads, and if you flip tails, you take damage. A lot of people will try to switch or retreat out of it. So I think Bonsly's all right. I'll put them both in B. So yeah, just like that. They're not amazing because they're low HP, though. It's a very big deal because there's spread stuff, and you'll just like get instantly vaporized if it sees spread. Next up is Stunfisk. Stunfisk is okay if it's like hidden to it does damage. It's kind of like Cryogonal. It's like a techy type Pokemon. Stunfisk like has very solid damage output for like a single prize or 1 energy, but at the same time, like it's not like amazing. It's not. It's better than other things, but it's still not great. Like, I think its damage output is less. It's less than Cramorant, and I don't know. It's up to you. I believe it stops retreating. I think it's interesting in like a Luminous Box type of deck, which I think we will see come up soon. But it's still not. It's pretty mid tier. Next we have this Malamar. I think it like looks at the top card of your opponent's deck. And then the top card of your deck, but that's kind of like I don't know it. Like, what do you do then? Like, sure, it's kind of helpful. I still think it's F tier. Like, it doesn't do much. You could put in Zoroark Control, which isn't like the worst deck in the world, but Zoroark Control, like it's so important to get Zoroarks into play in it. I don't think Malamar is the play here. Next we have this Altair. This one's also bad. It like puts your opponent to sleep, and they have to like flip double heads. But that's kind of like silly. Why would you wanna? I could do that because they can probably get out of it anyways. I was saying like paralysis wasn't that good. This is awkward. It's a stage 1 and it doesn't even do that much damage. It's not techable at all either. You could tech in other Altair decks, but only in very specific situations. Next up, we have this Oinkologne. This is another control one, kind of like Poltergeist. I guess it's okay. It's like I believe it's the same attack as Slurpuff, I think is the Pokemon. I've kind of forgotten the name of the Pokemon. So yeah, I believe Slurpuff. And it's like flip 3 coins for each heads, put a card into your hand, which is okay for 2 colorless. Actually, no, it's probably like a C, but I think that's an okay inclusion in Zoroark Control. Slurpuff hasn't seen too much play in Zoroark Control. I don't know, Zoroark Control is like a weird deck. It doesn't see actual Zoroark Control, although I think it is a very solid deck. I mean, it's not a great deck, but it's an okay deck. It's seen essentially no play. It's like impossible to play because it's just so difficult. And so like janky as well. But I think Oinkologne is okay. Next we have this card, this cat card. I don't remember what this card does. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna skip that one for now. Oh, I don't remember what the other trainer does. I'll just do Pokemon for now. Move the trainers to the end. Because like I don't remember what all the trainers do. They're just like random things. I think they're like some bad draw ones. I don't even know if I have all the trainers here. I might. Actually, I remember what most of them do, but I still don't remember what this one does or what this one does. Okay, so we have Greavard EX. Greavard is a it's okay. So it's the same thing as the Greavard or the Houndstone that increase the amount. They like do more for each psychic in your discard. This one's 3 energy. It's 160 plus 10 per psychic in the Pokemon in the discard pile. Quite frankly, it's like a lot to pay. I think it's okay. I could see it in like B, but I don't think it's that. Like, I'm not a big fan of it, but I don't think it's awful either. You play it in the deck because, like, why not, right? But again, not nothing amazing. Next up, we have Palmot EX. This is actually an okay Pokemon. I think it's better than gave it credit for. It's like it's not. Is it A? I don't think it's A. It's like it has Tree or Treat though, which is cool, and it also does a 120 or 220 snipe, which is very strong. That's like the amount that you want to hit, because it's like a very it's a lot. It like one shots basic EXs, basic Vs, and it hits on the bench. So that's nice. You can use Echoing Horn, stuff like that. That being said, it's a stage 2. It doesn't have massive amounts of HP. For a stage 2 EX, it just the minimum, which is 300, or not the minimum, but it's on the low end. So I think Palmot's okay. It's nice. There's another single price Palmot as well that like helps out a bunch as well. So I think when you combine them together, probably play some Flaffies, stuff like that, or maybe just Electric Generator, you could get there, Raihan, stuff like that. But it's a bit awkward to pull off, but I think it's usable. Absolute EX is just not good either. I don't completely remember what its other attack does, but I know it's not amazing. Its other one attack is like a pseudo control attack to reorder the deck. I think it's like D, maybe top of D. It's not very good. Oh, this arm move is really bad. It like burns if they hit into it. It's not good. Blossom is like a coin flipping one. It's a stage 2, but evolves from an interesting line. There's like an alright Gloom and Vileplume coming up in 151, which accelerate energy. They're not great, but you definitely chuck in the Gloom because you play Gloom and it's good. And then you can obviously probably play something like Cherim or some other form of energy acceleration, but probably Cherim because it's stage 1, unlimited acceleration, grass type as well, so very solid. That being said, it's like a coin flip, 90 per heads, I believe, and you could flip a coin for each energy attached, so that's all right. You can certainly be KOing stuff with this, but again, it's kind of awkward. Now we get to the big boy, Charizard EX. If you saw my top 10, it's one of the top Pokemon in this set. A ton of energy acceleration because with ensemble playability, it's a bunch of energy acceleration, fire from the deck. Again, this is when it switches types and it evolves. Obviously, Charizard normally fire, now it's dark, which is cool. And then it hits like okay, it's 180 and 10 and 30 more for each prize they've taken, I believe, which can get pretty strong, honestly. It's still a stage 2 though, and it's not like anything amazing. It's not Gardevoir or Excalibur that provide permanent insane ability stuff. So it's on play, one attack or two maybe gets knocked out. Its weakness, it's like type coverage is cool. You can play fire stuff, hit fire weakness, and then hit dark weaknesses, which are both solid weaknesses. Fire weakness isn't that good. Dark weakness is good. Then you're weak to grass, which is nice because grass is bad. So I think it's an interesting card. It's one of the best examples of the like type switching we've seen. I mean, we've only seen 3. It's definitely the best. But it's substantially better than the Vespiquen, definitely. It's not like a game-changing deck, but it'll see play. There's this Clefable EX. There's like a Clefairy deck, which is okay, and this is okay in it. I'd say it's top of C. I'll even say it's bottom of B. I'm gonna actually move this Screevar down. Clefable's interesting because it I believe it like prevents. It gives like your Pokemon Psych Energy attached for your cheat, which is kind of cool. But evolving, like losing Clefairies in play isn't great either. It's like has more HP obviously than Clefairy though. I don't despise it. I think it's like a 1 or 2 of in the Clefairy deck, and Clefairy is like okay. This could help it become like a bit more playable because right now it's just so bad because Lawson just picks it apart. And same thing with Chien-Pao, same thing with Urshifu. So, yeah, Clefairy is it's whatever. And then we have Decidueye EX. Decidueye EX is bad. It like can switch in and out, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like Russian Keldeo, but better. But it's still bad. It's D. Its attack's not good. This is stage 2, and stage 2 for versatility is not good. Now we have the third and final. No, we have 4 type switching ones. This is Ice Cube's okay. It goes to fire, which is not a great weakness to be hitting, but I guess it's better than water. So it's weak to water, which is actually worse. But it's worse to be weak to water than weak to lightning, I guess. Yeah, water is actually very good right now. But I mean, I think it's like immune to something or stop something attacking. The main thing is it's a water type or fire type attacker in a water deck. But that's not something you really need right now. I think in the future it could get good, but right now I'd say it's top of C. Next up we got Espeon. I'll talk about Umbreon as well. An evolution deck is kind of sort of coming out soon. In like 151, you're getting some stuff. It's not amazing, but these will be okay pieces in, I think. I mean, okay isn't like they're going in D tier. They're not great, but they're playable. I think the Umbreon's a little better. It's like Snipe or something. Espeon's a finisher. They're both whatever. I really don't think it's going to make a splash in the meta, unfortunately, because it's just not good. But there are a number of evolutions which are okay with like reversal energy. So it's if people can make, I think people might find a way to kind of make it work. And obviously, Psychic and Dark are amazing types as well to be hitting. We have Greedent EX. Greedent EX just is not good. It's like a generic EX. It's F tier, I gotta say. Now, I'll say it's D tier because there's like very good Squova in the game right now. You could tech it into Arceus, I guess. Like Arceus Giratina plays, often plays with Barrel Squovit, so you can put this Greedent EX in, but it's not a great card. Next up, we have Houndoom EX. I think this is just a generic Dark Attacker. I believe it's okay. I think it's C. I honestly don't remember what it does. I think I'll pull it up here for me. But I know it's not great. I know it's like kind of whatever. So let's see. It does there's apparently another Houndoom. It does 90 and stops if it's a basic from attacking next turn, or it can do 220. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So it's a generic attacker. There are obviously better options. Dragonite EX is bad. I think it can do 240 on a coin flip, but like coin flips are bad. This card's bad. I'd say it's F tier. It's one of the worst ones we've seen so far. It's not good. It's like honestly, it's one of the worst cards we've seen. Scovillain's 2 types. There's some stuff that works with it, so that's fine. I'd put it top of D, though it's nothing impressive. And then we have Toxtricity, which takes advantage of Pokemon with different types. I'd say it's top of C. Like it's not good, but it's not bad either. It could be stronger. It does 50 plus 30 for each different type of Pokemon on your bench. So you can hit, you can hit 200. You can maybe even hit more, right? You can hit more if you have, obviously, Damage Boss, but then you have the Scovillain or the Hoopa V on your bench, which is kind of cool. But that being said, I don't think this Pokemon is particularly strong either. You could put it in some weird Zoroark deck, though, but then it probably won't hit massive amounts of damage. And in terms of lightning, I suppose it's an okay lightning tech, but if you're just playing like Reversal and Luminous, or like Reversal Twin Luminous, not Twin, Double Turbo Luminous, which is Reversal Double Turbo, maybe Gift Energy as well, it's not that good because it's not cheaper than something like even like Kilowattrel, I think is the one that people play. Raichu as well. Raichu's all right. And this is not as good as those. Now we have this Togekiss. This Togekiss, again, is all right. I'd say it's A tier. It draws to 8 after your turn's done. And then also, interestingly, has a very strong evolution line that is based around healing, so you can get some extra healing while you're at it, which is fun. I don't think it's a broken Pokemon by any means, but it's all right. And then we got one of my favorite Pokemon, which is Pidgeot EX, which is very good. It searches for any card you want every turn. If I were to have an S tier Pokemon, this would be it, but it's not. So, yeah. Next up, we have Flamigo. This will be top of B as well. It's in bench and like active and bench snipe. It's okay in Lost Zone. Actually, I'll put it in A tier. I think it's all right. I don't think it's amazing by any means, but it is 60 to the active. If you have Flamigo on your bench, 60 to the bench as well, which is okay. Nothing amazing. Then we have Kingambit as well as this like card. I want to say it's Punching Glove, but that doesn't seem right. So if they have 4 more damage counters on them, they're instantly KO'd. And then you have a tool that says if you're one-shotted, you put 4 damage counters on a defending Pokemon. You can kind of chain Kingambit together. The tool itself is obviously only important for Kingambit, but I'd say Kingambit's A tier. It's one of the better attackers, like stage 2 attackers that are single prize we've seen in pretty much forever. So yeah, and I'll put this tool in C, I guess, because I don't really know where to put it. Cloth. I've actually heard a lot of talk of Cloth as well. I believe it's an interesting disruption Pokemon for penny stall decks, but I don't think it's amazing. I'd say it's actually probably like bottom of like mid B. It's just close to the top of B, but I'm not like an overwhelming fan of it either. I'm actually going to move Lunatone down as well and Cloth because I think it like removes energy when it's hit into, which is okay. But its HP is not massive, so it might just be dying, which is not great. This Koraidon is bad. Like, don't play it ever. It's essentially directly outclassed by the other Koraidon, so don't play it. Koraidon EX. And there's also a Miraidon EX, which is not directly outclassed because it has a free retreat, meaning you could actually see play as a pivot. So that's kind of cool. I think it's one of the better Pokemon in this set. It's not obviously super interesting, but it's a pivot. It has some like moderately interesting attacks. It's lightning type. Some people are saying it's really good. So most people aren't, but I think it has some value. And we actually have 2 Mawals from the set. We have this one, which removes special energy on play, which is okay. I think it's like somewhere in the middle of the B tier. It could get good. Right now, it's just whatever. I think it's not one of the best cards in this set. But like, you know, I believe it discards special energy from the active on play. If there's scoop in it, it would be solid. There's not though, so I'd say it's only B tier. Next we have this other Mawile, which is attacker in Gardevoir. So actually that'll be okay. I forgot about this one. It's not amazing by any means, but it's pretty solid. I'll actually say it's 80. Why did I put Palmot so high? Palmot's I put way too high. This Mawile is okay. It does, I think, 30 free energy attached to it, and has 100 HP. So it's like it's a weaker version of Gardevoir, single part stage 2 Gardevoir, but you know, it's a basic. So it's really nice. Obviously, again, I'll be picked apart by Lawstone, which isn't good, and like Urshifu or Medicham or whatever. You just kind of deal with that, but it's nice as a single price option. Melmetal, I was looking at this one. I kind of forget what it does, but it's bad. So it's F tier, I think. Yeah, F tier. And then Revavroom can have 4 tools on it, which is funny. It's like not good. You could put it has an engine built in the line though, so it'll bring it up to C tier. I've heard people say this one's good as well. I don't think it's good, but you know, I'll give it some credit that it has some value, but not a ton. So C. Glamour is actually really good as well. Glamour is one of those Pokemon in this set. I think it's worse. It's between Palafin and Mawile here, where it decreases your opponent's bench permanently as long as it's in the active. So obviously they can gust around it and rope around it, which is problematic. But aside from that, it's pretty good. Then we have Scizor, which is a solid Pokemon. It's like Flapple, where it does more for each ability they have in play. It hits a better weakness. It hits weakness, has more HP, which is kind of good, but kind of bad because it's less easy to search. But you know, I think Scizor is. It's certainly like a playable Pokemon. It will see play, and if you're playing Luminous Reversal Zoroark, you might put this in. It's like a very solid answer to Chien-Pao as well, if you're looking for that. Obviously, Melmetal in Zoroark is just insane. It's one of the best Pokemon in Zoroark. I think I made a tier list of Zoroark attackers, and Melmetal was A or S tier. But Scizor is still, you know, it's a pretty alright Pokemon. Pretty good in a vacuum, and like certain metas, but with Flap, it's outclassed. Tyranitar EX is whatever. I'd say it's like bottom of B. You know, it's fighting type, hits lightning weakness, which could be good. It's fighting weak, which isn't great, but it was a little bit of versatility. I don't think there's a fighting Tyranitar in the format right now, but theoretically it's okay. Its damage output's all right. It has high HP, so I think it's good. I heard there's like a Dodrio which has synergy with it, which is nice, but all in all, you know, it's not it's not like an amazing Pokemon. It's not as good as Charizard or a lot of the other EXs from the set, but better than some of those like generic ones like Houndoom. And then we got Victini. Victini is another generic one. Fire is just not as good a type as these other types, though. I'll put it top of D. It's nothing horrendously bad, but at the same time, like I can't really see myself playing it either because I don't think it has a lot of value, unfortunately. So. Yeah, and then we have the trainers. So first of all is Letter of Encouragement, which searches for a bunch of energies if you're KO'd last turn, which is okay. But you know, it's nothing like broken, but I think it'll definitely see play. It's probably somewhere in A. It's good in Chien-Pao. It's like super good in Chien-Pao. It's super good in Gardenias, and it's super good in Charm, but doesn't see that much play. It's a solid card though. It'll see play in like Gardevoir. Maybe Lost Zone, probably not Lost Zone, but you never know. Because like Lost Zone definitely likes energies. But they like him in the deck as well. So I don't know if we'll see playing Lost Zone, but we'll see playing some decks. Next is I think it's like Department Store or something. Which pretty much what it does is it searches for a tool every turn, which is fine. Um, would I use it? No, but it has a place in some decks. It's it's bottom of B. It's a generic stadium, I'd say, that could see play. Next, we have this supporter who I'm looking at now because I forgot. That is Rhyme. Draw 3 and switch one of your opponent's active to the switch your opponent's active to the bench. So send it to the bench. It's okay. It's whatever. It's honestly, and it's top of C. It's really whatever. It's not amazing. We also have this cap thing that says as long as this Pokemon, as the Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active, your opponent can't mill from your deck through pretty much anything. Attacks, abilities, items, tools, or supporters. I don't know why it's those things, not stadiums or energies, but whatever. This is kind of silly though because mill is not good, so it's bottom of D. Greta is really interesting. A supporter that accelerates a bunch of energy, and then your turn, but you can't attack that turn. It's really interesting. I'll put it in like mid B. Theoretically, it's good, but it's probably bad. It's one of those things I'm just gonna throw into the air and hope, but we'll see. Next, we have this other thing that's like Department HQ or something. Pokemon League HQ. It says the attacks of basic Pokemon in play cost 1 colorless more. This is kind of like theoretically it's super good, but it's actually like really bad in this current meta. I'd say it has some potential. Maybe mid B again, maybe upper B. It's like theoretically it's really good, but then like it's not good against Shin Pao. It's not that good against Lost Zone because they can just remove it, and like I don't know, it hurts like same line Radiant Greninja, but let's be honest, like they're just gonna bump it. It's not a huge deal, and it doesn't hurt Cramorant. And then it doesn't. I think it hurts some like Arceus decks, I guess, setting up and like whatever. It hurts Miraidon, but Miraidon's not very good. And it hurts. I mean, it hurts like some other like random decks, but yeah, I don't think it's not an amazing card. Next we have this Ortega. It's like a disruption supporter. It's whatever. It's like bottom. It's like top of C. It's I think it removes cards from the hand, puts them on the bottom of their deck, and then they can draw a card, which is not great. So it's some control disruption, which is cool, but it doesn't remove stuff permanently. I'd rather play. I don't know. There are a lot of other cards I'd rather play. I'd rather play like Boss or Research, or even there's a new card like a new Erica's something card, which is okay and it's better and it sees the hand as well. Seeing the hand can be cool. Yeah. And then there's who's this? Is this Poppy? Yeah. This moves energy from your Pokemon around. I don't know why you play this. Like this just doesn't seem good. I'll put it at top of D. Theoretically, at some point in the future, it might be good. But for now, it's bad. Then Brassius, or is it Grass? I think it's not Grassius. I believe it's Brassius. And this one, what's this do? Oh, shuffle your hand to your deck, draw until you're one more than you shuffled in. This is okay, I suppose, but it's not great either. I'd say it's like top of C again. It's a generic draw supporter that could be good in the early game, but in the late game, it's bad. It's almost like Iono, like one person Iono. But that's not good, right? So it might seem to play here and there, and it's like just an okay supporter. I don't hate it by any means, and it's good in like Caitlyn isn't good, but good in a few specific decks. I think Brassius is in that same type of deck. A bit better though. Caitlyn is a bit underwhelming because you need to like get rid of all these cards, and it's kind of sad. So yeah, this is my tier list. I'm interested in hearing what you think. Obviously, no S tier decks, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Also, I just finished recording the that GLC video, which if you didn't see, check it out. It's really good, I think. I spent like super long on that one, but now I'm back to my regular uploading and like schedule stuff. And I think I said this last time, I do live streams. I have some other channels linked to my channel that are me. I don't expect any regular uploads out of those, but if you're interested in them, check them out. And then I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'm excited to see you next time.